Hey everyone, Teo here. Today I'm reviewing the ASUS ROG Flow X16 2022, which is a comfortable gaming laptop. First of all, disclaimer, this is a review unit on loan from ASUS Singapore, so big thanks to them for providing yet another review unit for me to feature on my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm just going to present to you my findings so that you can decide whether or not this is worth the money, and this is quite pricey. So these are the two models available for sale here in Singapore. These are very powerful laptops, and the main difference between these two is the one that is more expensive, the one that is 6,298 Singapore dollars, comes with the external GPU, the ROG XG Mobile with AMD Radeon RX 6850M XT. Whereas the one that is more affordable but still quite pricey at 3,998 Singapore dollars, that just comes with the internal GPU, the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060. In some countries, there is the additional option with NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3070. This laptop, in my opinion, is one of the top 3 laptops from ASUS. The other 2 laptops that are better than this are the ASUS ZenBook Pro 16X OLED and the ZenBook Pro Dual 14 from 2022. And those 2 laptops are designed mostly for work, for productivity. This is a gaming laptop with a few gaming features that are not available with those 2 laptops, which I really love. So I'm just going to give you the bottom line up front. This is a beautiful laptop with good performance. And the features that are designed for gaming are, you can turn this screen over like this. While gaming, you can have the option of not having your keyboard in front so that you can bring the display closer for a more immersive gaming experience. The display has a refresh rate of 160 Hz, and this is Red Dead Redemption running at 1440p resolution, and I was able to get around 45 frames per second with high texture settings. And if I drop the resolution down to 1080p, I can get around 50 to 55 frames per second. If you feel like you need more graphics or gaming performance, you can connect an external GPU to this port here, which is the ROG XG mobile interface. And this laptop has 3 fans for more effective cooling while you are gaming, and the fan noise is not too noisy. The main downside for me with this laptop is, even with the 3 fans, this laptop can get quite warm. So if you are into gaming with your keyboard, this area can feel quite warm. But if you are like me who uses a controller for gaming, then you don't have to worry about heat. For me, this laptop scores quite high when it comes to the design, the overall build quality, the bright and color accurate display, fantastic audio quality, and it has pretty good gaming performance. So the main issue that I have is it's quite warm when gaming. So that's the bottom line, and now let's take a look at the items that are included in the box. Here we have the quick start guide and safety info, power cable, a 240 watt power adapter. This is the circular connector. The laptop supports USB-C charging as well, but USB-C will still drain the battery while you are gaming. And lastly, there is the ASUS SA201H pen. This pen supports tilt and slightly over 4,000 levels of pressure sensitivity. I'll show you how it performs when it comes to writing and drawing later. So let's look at the exterior. There is this parallel line pattern that's on top of the lid, and it has texture as well. This looks and feels really nice. This is matte textured, and there is the ASUS ROG logo here. On the back, you can see the grills for the fans. There are 3 fans, 2 speakers here for bass, and 2 speakers on top for the high frequencies. I did not open this up to see what's inside, but based on what I've read, the RAM is user upgradable, and there are 2 M.2 2280 NVMe slots, and one of them is already taken up by the laptop. So this is a very beautiful laptop with a 16-inch display, so the display is huge. The resolution is 2560 by 1600, so the aspect ratio is 16 by 10, which is nice. This is a mini LED display. HDR brightness is up to 1100 nits, SDR brightness is up to 500 nits. So this display is very bright and the colors look great out of the box. This display has 100% DCI-P3 color coverage, so this is suitable for work that requires color accuracy. There are 512 local dimming zones with this display, which is to say that depending on the content that's on the display, the LEDs can be brighter or dimmer to give you the extra contrast. For example, with the black area here, the LEDs are supposed to be dimmer to make the graphics here look brighter. But there is one downside to the local dimming zones. Now, as I zoom this image up to fill the screen, notice how the brightness will shift from dark to bright. Do you see that? Let me do it again, this time smaller. Notice how the brightness shifts from dim to become brighter, because now it's showing bright content. So I actually find that to be extremely distracting, but thankfully there is a way to turn it off, and you can do it here using the Armoury Crate app. If you're like me who is distracted by the shifting of the brightness, you can just turn this off. So now it's using one zone brightness control. Let's see if you can spot the difference now. So I'm going to make this small and zoom it. So now I don't see the shift in brightness, which is great. And even if you cannot see the shift in brightness while I used the local dimming zones earlier in this YouTube video, let me tell you that it's very obvious. Once you see it, you won't be able to see it. So the local dimming zones feature, to me, it's not really a feature, at least for the type of work that I do, such as graphic design, digital art, editing photos and videos. But if you edit HDR content or if you watch HDR movies, then you may be able to take advantage of the HDR brightness and the local dimming zones. The aspect ratio of 16 by 10 is good for work, for productivity, compared to displays with 16 by 9 aspect ratio, because this gives you more vertical pixels to show more content. Resolution is 2560 by 1600, and pixelation is not really noticeable when I'm working from one arm's length away. Viewing angles are good, with almost no shift in colors when viewed from extreme angles, but there is very slight drop in brightness. Anyway, when you're working, you're usually looking at the display straight on, so this is where you will get the best visual quality. The display has anti-reflective coating on it, and it's quite effective, and this is how it compares to a display without anti-reflective coating. So this is just bright white, which is quite glaring. And this is a touch screen display with finger gesture support. The animation is very smooth when it comes to zooming in and out, panning and scrolling, and also rotating. So this is a fantastic display. It's big, it's bright, it's vibrant, the bezels are very thin, so it looks really immersive. There is only one downside though. This display is kinda heavy, so if you lift the laptop up too quickly, you can see the display will move down. This is a minor issue. All you have to do is to lift your laptop up more slowly, that's all. The hinge is tight, and you can actually use the display at low angles like this. It's just that the hinge doesn't react too well when you lift the laptop up too quickly. And also when you have the display at this angle, it will just move down due to weight. These are the ports on the left. This is for the 240 watt power adapter, a full-size HDMI version 2, USB-C with speeds up to USB 3.2 Gen 2. This supports charging as well. This is the ROG XG mobile interface for external GPU, And this comes with a little rubber cover as well, and a 3.5mm audio jack. And these are the ports on the right side. That's the power button, micro SD card slot, two USB Type A ports with speeds up to USB 3.2 Gen 2, and this is the exhaust for one of the fans. The hot air coming out from this exhaust is not too hot and forceful, so it's still possible to game with your mouse on the right side rather comfortably. I feel like I have to mention that because there is another Asus laptop that I have reviewed that has hot air coming out that's blasting this area, which is quite uncomfortable. But with this laptop, you don't have the heat issue here on the right side. This is a good keyboard with well-spaced keys. The keys have good travel and feedback, so the overall typing experience is fantastic. And as you can see, the keys are backlit and the lighting can change. The colors of the light and the lighting patterns are customizable using the Armoury Crate software. When you start the laptop, the keys will light up red, and it's quite scary because red means danger, and unfortunately there is no way to change the color of the startup light. The function keys default to F1 to 12, and there is no function lock feature, so to use the shortcuts you will have to press the function plus the keys to mute, to change brightness, control fan speed, and other shortcuts. In addition to the function keys, there are 4 more buttons at the top for volume control, mic, and the Armoury Crate software. The touchpad is big, accurate, and sensitive, and it works really well. There are left and right click areas that you can press down, and this also supports finger gestures. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there is also the parallel line pattern on it, as well as on the palm rest. Here you get the parallel line texture as well, but here it's smooth. The speaker grills are quite tall, but the sound is actually coming out from the bottom part here, and this is where you get the high frequency sound. The bass comes from below, and this arrangement is pretty good because when you want to hear details, the details are coming out from the front. Audio quality is fantastic. It's easily 5 out of 5 stars. So if you are playing music or songs, it really feels like there is a singer or the band is playing on top of your keyboard. So there is good stereo and spatial effect. The only Asus laptop that has better audio quality than this is the Asus ZenBook Pro 16X OLED. In terms of overall design and build quality, this is definitely top notch. You do get what you pay for with this laptop. The weight is 2.1 kg. Notice as I lift the laptop up, the display moves down. Yep, that's the only issue I have with this design. This laptop is equipped with AMD Ryzen 9 6900HS processor, which is a powerful processor, so it's able to handle all sorts of visual content creation work without any issues. Things like graphic design, editing photos would be really smooth. Even editing 4K videos is smooth. I can import the videos and edit straight away without the use of any proxies. And the editing process is smooth without any drop frames. So this laptop can definitely be used for visual content creation because it's powerful enough and the display is big, bright, sharp, and color accurate. The gaming experience on this laptop is fantastic because you can fold the keyboard back to push the display forward, so gaming experience feels immersive. And of course, the visual quality of this display makes gaming more enjoyable. Depending on the game you play, you can get up to 165 frames per second. For example, with this game Hades, I'm able to get exactly 165 frames per second. There is one strange thing that I notice when I fold the keyboard to the back. The fan noise for some reason would become louder because the fans are spinning at a much faster speed, but when I have the keyboard in front, the fans don't spin as fast. I'm not sure why. Another thing to note while gaming is it's obviously going to drain the battery much faster. If you are charging the laptop with USB-C, it's still going to drain the battery. So if you want to charge the laptop while you're gaming, use the included 240 watt power adapter. The last thing I want to say about gaming is if you fold the keyboard back like this, the speakers with the bass are now facing you, and the high frequency speakers are facing away, so the audio quality isn't as good compared to having the keyboard in front where the high frequency speakers are facing you. So if you want to game like this with the keyboard at the back, it's probably best to have a speaker or earphones connected. This game is Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm using a keyboard and mouse with this game because for some reason my controller doesn't work even though it worked earlier. Anyway, with keyboard and mouse, I can say that it's kind of warm here in this area, and the keyboard is also quite warm. But thankfully, as mentioned earlier, there is no super hot air blasting out from this area, so you can still use your mouse here comfortably. This game is currently running at 1440p with high texture settings, so I can get 45 frames per second with 1440p. If I drop the resolution down to 1080p, I can get 50 to 55 frames per second. So gaming with 1440p with this game, it's very playable. It's actually quite smooth. This laptop has pen support, so you can actually flip the keyboard over and use this like a giant tablet for taking notes and for drawing. You can also take notes and draw in the laptop mode, obviously. The pen supports MPP2, Microsoft Pen Protocol 2, so the drawing performance is kind of similar to the Microsoft Surface Pen, which is to say that it's not that great. I mean the old Microsoft Surface Pen, not the newer Slim Pen 2. It works fine for quick sketching like this, and it supports finger gestures. So with this app that I'm using, which is Concepts, by the way, I can use 2 fingers to undo, and there is perfect palm rejection depending on the app you use. So I've configured the app to move the canvas when I have my finger on the display, and if I place my palm here, nothing will happen. So there is perfect palm rejection when it comes to taking notes or drawing. Pressure works fine enough, but this pen and the display is not going to give you the sensitivity that you can expect with pen displays such as those from Wacom or Huion or XP Pen. The display is laminated, so there is no gap between the pen tip and the line. For the type of art that I create digitally, which is mostly quick sketches, this works fine, and this is quite responsive. Let's check out the slow diagonal lines. This is quite straight. I can see slight wobble. Definitely some slight jitter there, but overall still quite straight. Let's check out the writing performance, which is fantastic. And this is the pencil brush, so there is tilt. I'm not sure if I can recommend this laptop for professional artists for drawing, but for sketching, definitely not an issue. I don't feel that anything is amiss when I'm sketching. Yep, so it works fine for sketching purposes. Alright, to conclude, this is a good laptop. It looks good, it performs well, there are no major deal breakers. The minor downsides would be the heavy display. the local dimming zones, and the keyboard and palm rest area, which can get hot during gaming. This is a gaming laptop which is obviously targeted at gamers, but it can be used for content creation as well. Alright, I hope this review is useful. See you guys in the next video. Bye!